welcome to episode 27 of Short Film Showcase. I'm your host, Mike Messier, and on this episode we have two very special guests. But first, let's check out some of the film work of our first guest today, Marty Lang. We're going to see a trailer for his feature film Rising Star, followed by a short film called The Theseus Woman, right here on the Short Film Showcase.
Am I late?
If we're a minute late to a meeting, what's he gonna do? Lay us off? 10% of this company will be laid off.
Hey, Chris. It's Laura. You've still got some clothes at my place? I was hoping you could come pick them up.
I'm Chris.
I'm Eliza.
This is Online Eliza.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Online Eliza.
Should I trust it? Should I lean back and take in the city, see the spotlight scan the skies? Do you think they're following us, or are we just chasing?
You're an hour late. You heard what he said yesterday. You gotta get your stuff squared away.
Work takes up almost all my time.
It's not how much time you put into something, it's what it gives back to you. If you throw yourself completely in your job, you're throwing all your energy at something that doesn't return the favor.
Is it worth it to lose your job over a hobby? I'm having car problems and I'm trying to get my keys.
Look, I don't know how long that's gonna buy you, man.
What are you waiting for?
You might find out sometime.
We're really lost here. So dig me a well, and I'll drink from it.
Becky died 2 years ago. I never laid a hand on her. I only wanted her to be perfect.
Hi, you've reached Rebecca and Steve. We're not home right now, so please leave us a message and one of us will call you back.
Steve, figured you'd be calling. It's been what, 2 days? I was starting to get worried.
I got a new batch of photos. And her voice. We had an old answering machine.
An answering machine, nice. You guys have a horse and buggy too?
Rebecca loved old things. It used to piss me off, actually. So I've uploaded it.
Steve, as much as I love collecting your money, this won't make a difference. Rebecca never got a digital capture, man. Another few photos and an answering machine doesn't change that. It's Ursat's replication.
Just tell me what to do now.
I need to show you. You're the boss. You look like hell. When was the last time you slept, Steve? Drop in the pat match.
Done.
Check her out.
Wait, don't do that.
I like the ocean.
Why did you do it?
What do you mean, my love?
I saved you from your brother. He had you whipped like a goddamn dog.
I know you saved me, and I thank you for that, Stevie.
You appreciate all that I did for you, even though I lose my temper sometimes. You still love me.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever kill yourself?
Never.
It's not her.
A digital capture is a compression of all thoughts, memories, and experiences. She never did that, get it? This is good enough for most people. Customizable build, downloadable skin. Turing mirror gives 1,000 reactions to virtual stimuli. Easy to build, easy to satisfy the customer. But you want this. 100 billion neurons in the average human brain. You want to recreate that from scratch without a DC. That is impossible.
What good is an emotion, Jack, if I can't elicit an emotional response?
You need to push her. You need to push her, Steve. The way you used to be. But even then...
Shut up.
Join me in the build.
Stop. Becky! Look, this isn't working. She just keeps walking away. Can we try someplace else? Becky, look at me. I said look at me, you stupid bitch. Staring off into space isn't gonna bring Bandit back now, is it? What, is that what did it? I didn't drown your damn dog, okay? That was your bastard of a brother's work. I lifted you out of that black.
I don't know what do you...
Why did you kill yourself? What, to join your damn dog? What about me? Was I not good enough? Was I...
Don't yell at me.
Don't tell me what to do. God, you need a discipline sometimes. You just... Yeah. I'm so sorry for what I did.
Oh, what did you do, sweetie? How'd you like dinner?
Oh, I've had better. You'll do better next time, won't you? So, tell me about this mythology you love so much.
The stories are just really fun.
Yeah? So, why should I give a about the ship of Theseus?
Yeah. Who even gives a shit about Theseus? When Theseus came back from Crete, he propped his ship up on this platform, like a memorandum, and the Greeks tried to take care of it for like generations and generations, but it was made out of wood, and wood rots. So if an oar would fall off, they would just replace it, and if a plank would rot out, the carpenters would just put a new one in. And they did this for hundreds and hundreds of years.
So,
was it still the ship of Theseus?
Becky never got saved. She said the whole thing scared her.
Life is information, not magic and ghosts.
I've got information. Her photos, her voice. I even manually typed in entries from her diary. None of it has helped. None of it can match my memories of Becky.
This is not a good time, Steve.
Listen, I've been thinking about what you've been saying, how everything that I'm loading into the sim, it's not really reconstructing her. How what I'm trying to do, it's impossible.
Steve, I can't tell you how glad I am to hear you. Excuse me. I'm making a call here?
Where are you?
I'm at the shuttle port. There's people all over.
The Theseus ship.
What?
She was never saved. So all I've been making is a superficial phantom.
Steve, I've been trying to tell you that for 2 years.
That is why I need to download my own memories of her. We need to mix them in and create a legit neural web.
Do you have any idea
Just
what you're
do it, goddammit! You have my card on file. Get whatever you need. Now.
You're opening a door. You have no idea what's waiting for you on the other side.
I am so close. Can you appreciate that?
I remember Becky. This is what I've been missing. Photos and audio files. It's not the same as what I remember.
I gotta explain to her where 2 years went, Steve.
Coma. I'll tell her she was in a coma.
chicken's overcooked.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Becky.
You don't have to be sorry for overcooking the food, do you, sweetie?
No. I mean, yes, I just want you to be happy.
You always called me stupid.
I'll never call you stupid again. You don't understand. I've been so lonely here without you.
There were times when you hurt me so much, just with what you said, that my brother's fists were nothing in comparison. Not nearly enough salt, darling. You'll do better next time, won't you?
Welcome back to Short Film Showcase. I'm your host, Mike Messier. And joining me in the studio is Marty Lang.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, Marty. Good to see you.
Hey, good to be here.
And we just saw some of your work, a trailer for Rising Star, which is a feature film that's gotten distribution. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then we saw the short film, The Theseus Woman. Let's talk about The Theseus Woman first, since we just saw it.
Sure.
What was your role or roles in this production?
Well, I was one of the producers on the short film. The guy who wrote and produced it, Bryan, is a friend of mine from college, and he's a novelist. He's actually written 7 books, and he's always wanted to get into filmmaking. He's written a number of feature screenplays, a couple with me, and he had a short story that he wrote that we thought would make a really great short film. So we kind of used that as an opportunity to get everybody a chance to do what they wanted to do on a film project. Bryan wrote the script for it. He was another one of the producers and also one of the lead actors, and I worked as one of the producers to help get the film made, and was also one of the editors on it too.
That's great. And where would you say the original concept sprang from? Where?
Well, the Theseus Woman derives from the tale of the ship of Theseus.
Right.
When Theseus came back from Crete, his ship was raised up in memorandum, and for hundreds of years it stayed there, and it sort of kind of broke down piece by piece, and those pieces were replaced with new pieces, and after a while, you looked at what you thought was the original ship, but really it was a complete, assembly of new pieces. So it's kind of the idea of, when you look at something that you think is what is originally what it was, is it really what it originally was? And that's kind of the theme of the whole film.
That's great. That's great. And are you yourself inspired by like the Greek classics? Is this part of your art as an artist? Do you think about the Greeks or Homer or the Iliad? You know what I'm talking about, like the classics?
Yeah. Well, I think this particular story was more in terms of what Bryan was interested in doing. He's huge into mythology and things like that. We actually wrote a story together that was based on the burning of the ship of the Great Library of Alexandria in ancient Egypt. So that's sort of his wheelhouse. He likes to deal in mythology and things like that. For me personally, I deal more with things in the current world, like the economic crisis that we're in right now is actually a topic that I have a lot of interest in. The film Rising Star that I made actually deals directly with that. I have another film project that deals with that as well. So I kind of work more off of current events as opposed to mythology. But when I work with Bryan, we definitely work with history a lot when we come up with our stuff.
That's great. Meeting of the minds.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting how two creative forces like you and your friend Bryan can come together, and then you have a group think tank, so to speak.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And Rising Star, let's talk more about that. We got to see the trailer, but tell us more about it.
Yeah, Rising Star is a feature film that was shot in Hartford, Connecticut about 2 years ago. It's a story about a guy who works for an insurance company. If you know Hartford, it's the insurance capital of the world.
Right.
So there's many people like that character in the city. And he finds out there's going to be layoffs. So he tries to kind of party his troubles away that night. And after he finds out that news, and he meets this girl who's kind of a real bohemian, free spirit, kind of total opposite of him. They spend the night together, but he was so drunk he didn't remember if they actually slept together or not.
Sure.
The next morning, she remembers, but she won't tell him. So they spend the next day together kind of meandering through the city, and he's trying to get information out of her, and she's trying to get him to keep from going back to work. And it's kind of a discussion about whether or not you should be living to work or working to live.
Marty, you've been reading my Facebook blogs. I'm just kidding. Your actors, I saw the trailer, your actors look great. Who are the actors in the Rising Star piece?
Thanks. The lead actor is a guy named Gary Plosky, another friend of mine from college, actually. And the lead actress is a woman named Emily Morse, who is another friend of mine from college, and she's also a musician who does a lot of work in New York City. She has a couple albums out, like a trip hop, dance kind of stuff. They're both old friends of mine. I wrote both parts for them. And the third lead in the film is another friend of mine named Michael Berra. He was actually in the film The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
That came out last year.
What was his role in that?
If you remember the scene when Peter Parker's trying to get milk at this little kind of bodega, and the guy working behind the counter is giving him a lot of grief because he's taking pennies out of the take a penny, leave a penny jar.
Right.
Michael is the guy who plays that guy behind the counter.
Just as an aside, I saw that movie and I thought it matched up well with the ones from the previous decade myself.
I agree. I like that film very much.
Yeah, great. Now, it's interesting that you said that you've known your actors for quite some time, and a lot of times, as myself as a film director and casting roles, you do favor people that have been in your environment, your life, because these actors, when they get in your system, you start saying, well, I could do this with this guy, or this actress would be great for this part, and sometimes other actors will wonder, well, how do I break in? But as we were saying, sometimes if you establish those relationships with writers and directors, producers at an earlier stage of their career, well, that's how you get in.
It's a really important thing. For everyone that was involved in the making of Rising Star, we had known each other because we worked in a summertime program in Connecticut.
Yep.
The state actually ran a workforce training program for people that wanted to get into the film industry, and it was a program that I created. And what we did was, for 5 summers, every June, people got together for a month at Quinnipiac University in Hamden and actually learned to be location scouts, camera assistants, sound people, script supervisors, assistant directors. And every year we made a short film as sort of like our final project. Every main actor in Rising Star worked with us on one of those films. So it's definitely true. You kind of get your crew together and you all sort of rise together.
Nice. We've been talking about Connecticut quite a bit, and it's good to have a Connecticut representative like yourself on our show. We've had a lot of folks in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and you've worked with a good friend of mine, Alec Aston.
Yes, sir.
And he was your editor, I believe, on one of the pieces. Which,
on Rising Star.
Right. How was it working with Alec?
Alec is great. He also is a director. He directed a feature that shot in Hartford right after mine, a film called Diamond Rough. And he really has a wonderful sense, a visual sense. He was able to bring things to the edit that I really didn't have in my head when we shot things. And as an editor, it really is such an important skill to be able to put the footage together that you have. And he was able to solve problems that came up because of footage that we couldn't shoot, or time that ran out at a particular location, things like that. He was able to find ways to work around the pieces that we didn't have to still tell the story that we wanted to tell. He really is a talented guy.
Some of these talented guys and talented ladies in the business, let's go on a little tangent here.
Yeah.
But sometimes all of us can have egos. But when you're dealing with people in a collaborative effort, how do you, Marty, as a director, deal with the egos, even from the actors or anybody? How do you deal with that type of thing?
Well, you try to think of it in terms of a team sport, right?
Right.
So if you're directing a film, I kind of think of myself as the coach, I guess would be the best analogy.
Sure.
So if there's things that are going on and there's egos that need to be placated, you always want to try to get people to work towards the goal that you're trying to get to, which in this case would be to finish the film, right?
Right.
And to get the best performances that you can. So I always gear, any work with an actor or a crew member or anything where there are questions with ego, I always try to frame that discussion in terms of, look, we're working the best we can to get the best film that we can make. You're a vitally important piece of that, whether you're an actor or a crew member or what have you. We need you to be the best you can. And, of course, we'll do everything that we can to get you to that place. And hopefully, you know, that's enough for them to get back on board and to stop thinking in terms of the individual and start working more in terms of the team.
What's that expression? It's not the name on the front of the jersey, it's the one on the back.
It's one on the back.
Something
It's, the one on the front.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I was reading a book by Bill Parcells, I believe it's the San Francisco 49ers coach who won at least 5 Super Bowls, maybe more, with Steve Young and Joe Montana. And what you were saying just now, 2 minutes ago, reminded me of that book. So good for you. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you read any motivational books, or do you read any film books that you'd like to mention as inspirations for you in your career?
I've done a lot of reading on many different kinds of film aspects. The one book that kind of stands out to me is a book by a guy named Walter Murch.
Okay.
He's an editor and a sound designer. He was the editor of Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful film. He wrote a book called In the Blink of an Eye.
Okay.
And that book deals with film editing.
Yep.
And sort of how to construct a story based on the footage that you have. Every time I work on a film, I read that book before I start.
Nice.
And it really gives you a sense of, you know, thinking creatively as opposed to thinking logistically or thinking in terms of budget or things like that. It really gets you back to, you know, the focus of storytelling, which is really why you're in the middle of film in the first place.
In the Blink of an Eye by
Walter Murch.
Walter Murch. And just out of curiosity, when did you get first tuned into that book? When did you?
The first time I actually read that was when I was in film school.
Nice.
Yeah, I went to Florida State University, and yeah, my editing teacher, who worked on a number of films with Roger Corman, actually, had recommended that book, and I read it, and it absolutely blew my mind.
Nice.
Yep.
What was the college education like for you?
Oh, film school was unbelievable. I was there for 2 years, from 2002 to 2004, and I actually got to produce a film that won a Student Academy Award.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it was a film called The Plunge. It was a comedy film.
Nice.
About a guy who wants to propose to his girlfriend while they're skydiving.
Once again, my Facebook, you know, but that was before it existed. Marty, man, you had film school in Florida. How much fun was that?
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was great. Two-year party. Yep.
Yeah, I bet. That's great. Tell us what's next. I mean, you've got so much stuff going on in the present tense and going back to college. What's next for you?
Well, I have a short film that's in post-production right now. It's called Protesters.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to get that out to film festivals in the next month or so. We should be done with it in the next 2 weeks. So I'm really excited about that. Once that's done, I have a feature project called Storytellers that I'm just starting to write. And I'm hoping to get some more traction on that over the next couple of months. I also have a TV pilot that I'm working on called Writing Darwin.
Okay.
And that deals with the student loan crisis here in America. So I'm hoping once these projects are, you know, kind of created, I can get some traction with them and hopefully get to work on another big project.
You know, I mean, let's talk about some influences of you. Before you even got into film, and at an early age you were into film already, but watching movies as a kid, what inspired you? Like, was there any one moment? Like for me, it was seeing Goodfellas. But for you, was there any film that kind of triggered? Like, yeah, this is it. I'm into this.
There were 2 films that actually did it at very different points in my life. The first one was the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I saw that with my father, and that was the first time I was in a theater, and I thought, this is a blast. This is so much fun. But I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, so that wasn't the moment where I thought I can make a career out of this.
Right.
But fast forward to when I was in college, I saw another movie, the original Scream.
Right.
And this is great because I took a girl to go see it with me, and I didn't say a word to her the entire time the movie was playing.
Right.
I was just completely into the film. And when it was done, I thought, man, that was a ride. I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if I could actually try to do something like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what started the whole thing of what eventually got me into film.
And those films are so successful, Scream movies and stuff like that. And for you, and what a lot of us local filmmakers are having some struggles or some challenges with, is getting our films to larger audiences. And you've had some luck with that. From what I understand, The Rising Star recently got a distribution deal.
Yes, yeah,
and that's terrific. So you want to talk about that for a few minutes?
Yeah, we were lucky enough to get a distribution deal, a worldwide deal, actually, with a company called Content Media Corporation.
Okay.
They're based in London. They saw the film and loved it and offered us the deal, and we're actually being distributed in Malta right now, the European country of Malta, and we're on the way to getting a U.S. deal as well. By the end of the year, we should be able to see it on Netflix and Hulu and on demand and places like that. The process to get the deal was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
When we finished the film, we world premiered it at a film festival in Seattle.
Nice.
It was the Seattle True Independent Film Festival. And
Stiff.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That was where we played first.
Yeah.
And we actually won an award there for Best Premiere.
Nice.
This was the first time they ever offered this award because we were the first out-of-town film to ever sell out its screening.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the reason that we were able to do it was because of Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
We were all over social media in the months leading up to it. So because of that, we caught the attention of a producer's rep in Los Angeles. So they contacted me and said, listen, we heard about this film. We heard that you won an award that was created for you.
Nice.
What's this film all about? So we sent them a copy. They flipped for it. They said, we want to rep you. We think we can sell this. And we said, okay, fantastic. And, you know, we signed the deal. And they went out, and within about 3 months, they got Content's attention. They liked it, and we were able to sign the deal.
There's so many avenues to success. And what you just talked about is that these film festivals are something that can be very valuable for filmmakers. You never know who's in the audience. In your case, you guys built an audience through Facebook and Twitter, and you made something happen.
Yeah.
You got that award, and everybody's pretty thrilled about it on your team. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. You know, these days it's all about being able to build an audience for your product and being able to, you know, kind of utilize that to get to where your next step is. You know, for us, the goal was always to find a distribution deal so that a larger audience could see it. The way that we knew we could do that was by making sure that people knew about it on social media channels. So like our YouTube channel, we made probably between 70 and 80 videos over 2 years, you know, to let people know about what we were doing and where we were. So, you know, that kind of thing, it really helps.
Let's play the name game a little bit.
Sure.
I want to give you some choices. If you could choose any actor internationally to work with, could be someone we know in the local area or someone such as such and such, you know.
Okay.
Who would you like to work with as actors?
I would love to do a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's an amazing actor.
Yep.
I think he's great. I would also love to do a movie with Mark Duplass.
Tell me about Mark Duplass.
He's an actor. He's on the TV show The League on
Okay.
FX, but he's also an independent actor and filmmaker in his own right.
Okay.
Him and his brother made movies like Cyrus and Jeff Who Lives at Home.
I've heard of Jeff Who Lives at Home, yeah.
He's a writer, director, producer, and actor. He does all kinds of things. I'd love to make a movie with him.
Cool.
As far as actresses, I think Amy Adams is an amazing talent.
Sure.
I'd love to work with her. And I think Rachel Weisz also is an amazing talent.
Yep.
I'd love to work with them, yeah.
Any directors that you kind of say, you know, that director is so good, I'd love to accomplish some of the things that he or she has accomplished?
Actually, there's a pair.
Okay.
The Coen brothers.
There you go.
If I could have any kind of career as a filmmaker, I'd love to have the career they've had.
What film or films of theirs, real quick, did you like the most?
My favorite movie of all time is The Big Lebowski.
Yep.
So that's obviously a huge one. I
Right.
love Raising Arizona, Hudsucker Proxy, Burn After Reading. I mean, I'm just a huge fan of anything they do.
Nice. Very cool.
Yep.
Well, Marty Lang, it's time is going quick, so we're going to have you on another show.
Yeah, it'd be great to be back.
And good luck with Rising Star and everything else you're doing.
Great.
Tremendous. Thank
Thanks.
you. Right now on the Short Film Showcase, we have a very special clip from A Search for Home, a film by our show's own producer, Bryan Casey. In this clip, you'll see our recent guest, Pat O'Hara, with our guest today, David Graziano. So let's check out A Search for Home, a great clip from our producer, Bryan Casey, right here on Short Film Showcase.
What the hell is this?
Oh, hey, babe. Just a little drink. You know, New Year's Eve.
What is it, the third time this week, Harlan?
See? I don't need it. Honestly.
get right.
Last call.
Until the next time.
I know. I've said it before. I know that. But this time, I mean it. I'm ready. No more drinking.
I wish I could believe that.
You don't believe me now?
No, it's too late. It's too late for that.
But I mean it. I really mean it.
Out.
Baby.
I want out.
I will quit. I will, and we'll be like we used to be.
Carla, I want out. I'm sorry. I'm deeply sorry. But I want a divorce. I've already filed the papers.
Don't do that.
I did it.
Suderia Salon, may I help you?
Welcome back to Short Film Showcase. Right now in our studio is a very special guest, tremendous actor from the region, David Graziano. David.
Michael.
Great to see you here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
You're welcome. And you are coming on strong the last 2 or 3 years as an actor. I've had you in my class core acting. You've excelled in there. And now you're becoming a guy in the region who directors are just going to. As far as an actor, they know they can deliver the goods. Sometimes you're auditioning, sometimes you don't even have to audition. So tell us about your growth in the last couple of years as an actor, David.
Thank you for those kind words. I don't ever look at it that way. I just think it's right place, right time.
Yeah.
For the, you know, the Zeitgeist, the spirit of the times.
Right.
I think I have a reputation for doing my homework, preparation,
right,
research, and I've been described as, if it's not that's all, folks. If it's not described, if it's not dated, method,
right,
and I show up in character, and I'm ready to go the moment I walk onto the set. And directors here, Bryan's one, Skip Shea's one, Christopher D'Annunzio is one, Chris Esper's another one, Adam Carbone is another director, excuse me,
yep,
who seem to really appreciate that and value that contribution to their vision. And I buy into their vision. I think that's very important, that an actor expose himself, become vulnerable to the director's and the writer's vision of what that character should be and where that character fits into the plot arc and how the character's arc should parallel and represent that arc.
What you said, 3 bullet points, preparation, homework,
yeah,
and I think you said maybe respect for the craft. You didn't say that, but I'll say that on your behalf.
Okay.
But there's 3 things. I remember 2 of them.
Okay.
And what you do, and it is respect, because you know, we in this region or anywhere, you get people that say, oh, I'm an actor, I'm an actor, you know. But what are they doing to prepare for these roles? They need to be doing what you're doing, which is the homework.
Well, if you pick up any book, or if you watch any movie, and I really focus on, when I talk about watching a film, in my head right now, I'm thinking about films that were done in the 30s and in the 40s and in the 50s. It all changed. It all changed after On the Waterfront.
Sure.
Right. It all changed.
Right.
It all changed. Kajuan and Brando, Lee J. Cobb, that cast, those using actual dock workers.
Right.
And teaching them how to act.
Yep.
For that, it all changed. But 30s and 40s, you watch guys like William Powell, Cary Grant. They would excel today,
right,
because they did their research, they did their work. I mean, William Powell was the Thin Man. If you read the Thin Man series of books, you can't think of anybody but William Powell doing that. Cary Grant, in any role that he did at that time, you'll notice that he changed that wonderful voice of his. He would change his walk. He would change the way he held his head, the way he would hold one actress one way, hold a different actress a different way, always making the other person, bringing them up to his level.
Right.
And you know, and then I started thinking about guys like Montgomery Clift, obviously James Dean, obviously Brando, the whole Actors Studio thing, the 50s in the Village and what was going on. I was fortunate to live in the Village many years later, many years later. And I kind of spent time studying it and reading it about it. And now, as much older, I've been able to integrate it. Then, all those years ago,
right.
I didn't have my you-know-what together
Sure.
enough to integrate it. Now, I'm fortunate enough to work with people, Bryan, you as a teacher and friend, and Skip Shea, and Chris D'Annunzio, et cetera,
Right.
that allow me to some freedom. And I'm able to do whatever it is that I do. I'm very lucky that people seem to like it and seem to want me to do more of it.
We talked about off camera the clip that you did with Pat. Pat's
Yeah.
been on our show twice
Yeah.
now. And so it's good to see her back on the show in the clip with A Search from Home.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
And what about working with her in the scene directed by Bryan Casey, our producer? How did you guys create that chemistry, or was it just there?
Bryan, if I remember correctly, looked back at me and said, just do what you do.
Yeah.
And he looked at Pat and said, do the same thing David does.
Yeah.
And Pat looked at me and laughed.
Right.
and I said, you ready? And she said yes. And I don't even think Bryan said action.
Right.
I just think Pat and I kind of talked, and when the dialogue started, Bryan, I heard rolling, and next thing I know, 3 or 4 takes later, Bryan said, we're finished, that's a wrap.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you and Pat had worked together in a comedic scene in another film.
Yeah.
As a couple. So.
As a couple, as a hippie couple.
Yeah.
Burnt out, stoned, high.
Right.
Yeah, very strange little scene in a very strange, funny little movie.
Yeah.
Darkly funny little movie, The Twain.
Right, by Jocelyn Padilla,
Yeah,
who's
written by Jocelyn Padilla, yes.
Yeah, and she's been on our show before as well.
Ah, good.
Yeah, so I think, am I right in saying that Skip Shea directed that?
Yes.
Okay,
Skip
great.
Shea did direct that.
And Skip's going to you for a few things. Skip is also on our show, and he has you in Ave Maria. And we're not going to see that on our show, but if you want to describe that short film a little bit, that would be tremendous.
Ave Maria is a horror film. It's the first horror film I've done.
Yep.
First of many, I hope. No dialogue. And I'll just say that 3 women hold me hostage, hold my character hostage for past crimes, and hold him accountable for past crimes.
Right. And it's a very deep film.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart.
And we won't go into the specifics, but I know, seeing the film and working with you a little bit in preparation, just a little bit,
Yes.
you had to physically go through a lot.
Yeah.
And as an actor who is willing to take on these challenges of physical discomfort and strange situations, what is it like to put your body out there? And not to be in a dangerous position, but in a, let's say, uncomfortable position, physically, mentally might be uncomfortable. How do you deal with that as an actor?
That's a great question. And it just challenged me. I don't think of it as uncomfortable.
Right.
For me, that's when I'm most comfortable.
Okay.
I totally let go of David at that point.
Yeah.
I know this sounds lofty and cliched. Oh, he's going to start talking about being an artiste and all that other. No, and that's not the direction I'm going in.
Okay.
I'm just saying, for me, at that moment, I enjoy that physical challenge. And I know safety has to come first, and I'm reminded of that all the time.
Right.
But that's when I can let go of David,
Yes.
and I can explore my own neurosis.
Right.
And for me, it's cathartic. And I also like the fact that there are a few people willing to do that.
Right.
At least in this area, from what I've seen. And I'm willing to do that, and I try to do it well. And I like pushing it to the point where everybody else has to say stop.
Yeah.
I take great pride in that.
Mhm.
But I'm very comfortable there.
Right.
I'm very comfortable there.
That's great. I mean, there's a short list of local actors that people are going to now, and you've jumped in that mix pretty quick. So that's
I had a
credit
lot
to
of
you.
help.
Yeah.
A lot of help.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, for you telling people what you've seen.
Right.
What Anthony Ambrosino telling people what he had seen.
Yep.
What Bryan Casey telling people what he had seen. What Skip Shea, what Chris D'Annunzio. I would be just another guy who memorized lines standing in front of the camera. It's a lot of people. I would not be here without the help of the people that I mentioned, and a couple more I probably forgot. Rich Camp, I should mention Rich Camp.
Yeah, Rich is great.
Yeah, Rich.
He gave you a shot in a movie.
Yeah, Gotta Find Barry.
Gotta Find Barry, a fun movie.
Yes.
And you played the mortician?
Hector, the Undertaker.
The
Yeah.
Undertaker, yeah, that was fun. And let's talk about some of these other projects. A Life Not to Follow. Christopher D'Annunzio was on our show, and he had great things to say about you in A Life Not to Follow.
Nice.
And in that part was Tobias Kane.
Yeah, Tobias Kane. Tobias is emotionally disenfranchised. I'd say he's pretty close to amoral. He's an ex-FBI agent that was asked to leave because he planted evidence on a suspect because he knew the suspect was dirty, and a wonderful actor, Bill Bloomfield.
Yeah.
Plays a dirty cop that dropped a dime that ratted Tobias out.
Uh-oh.
And I won't say any more about that. I'll spoil it. Yeah. That'll be out September. Should be out September or early October.
That was a feature.
It's a feature.
Features feel good.
Features feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 interlaced narratives, a la Sin City, and I have the lead in the last narrative.
Nice. Yeah. That's great. And so you do have the look of these police officer, even mafia guys. The coin of good guy and bad guy in that world, of gritty cop, NYPD Blue type of stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you could flip the coin and you'd be on either side of it, really. So that's got to feel good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. And then you got a couple with Bryan Casey, our producer, coming up. Between Us.
Yeah, Between Us is a really fun, dark movie about a twisted relationship, about 2 best friends that want what each other have.
Right.
We're just a scene or 2 away from wrap, which should happen in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited to have that scene with Bill Bloomfield's in that film with me.
Yep.
And I'm excited to shoot that final scene that I have left with Bill.
Nice.
Yeah.
And there's another one called Me and You, and
it's a feature that Bryan had written with me in mind for the lead. I loved the story when I read it. It's so intelligently written, and the characters are so deep and rich. I play a guy whose wife commits suicide and leaves him with a child with Asperger's to raise.
Yep.
And not only that challenge, but this same guy is estranged from his brother, and he is estranged from his family to a degree. But there's a lot of conflict, a lot of richness, a lot of psychology getting played out in the movie. People making themselves very vulnerable and then wrapping themselves up very tight and trying to protect that vulnerability that's already been out there.
You have worked, if we can go into this just a little bit, you have worked in the psychology field, the social work field.
Yeah, I was a therapist for 7 years.
Does that ever seep into the empathy you have for your characters?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Sure.
You must have worked, treating and helping people who had, I don't know, bipolar or schizophrenia or
I worked the spectrum. Yeah, it was with children.
Yeah. And
I didn't work with adults. I did individual children's therapy and family therapy. Yes.
Right. And with children or with adults, I mean, we're all very frail in some ways. And the human condition is that, as an actor, we're here to service the human condition.
I think we're here to point out the contradictions in actors. Actors are here to point out the contradictions in the human condition.
Right.
And the richness of those contradictions. And in that is where we find our identity or our uniqueness. At least that's where I find my own.
One of the books that we both enjoy is Audition Michael Sherloff.
Sure.
Chapter 12, Opposites. You can be saying 2 things at once.
Yes.
Who, I know the answer to this question, Dave, but who, if you could work with an actor, would be your choice? Any actor or actress? We'll say both, actor and actress. Anyone?
Actor, I'd like to work with Daniel Craig.
Yep.
I think his performance would bury mine, but I would still like to give it a shot.
Sure.
I'd also like to work with Jean-Paul Belmondo.
Okay. Tell me more about him.
Breathless.
Yeah.
Breathless. Took my breath away, no pun intended.
Right.
I'd like to work with the guys that made Rafifi, French film, a heist film, where for 30 minutes there's no dialogue, where the heist goes on. And also that film revolutionized every heist that was ever shot in every movie that came after it was made in 55, 56, I don't remember when.
Right.
And then Grabisi, another French film about French crooks.
Right.
From the French film noir period. Anybody from film noir, Sterling Hayden, Gloria Graham, of course Bogey.
Yes.
Contemporary, Brad Pitt. I love to work with Peter Clooney.
Yeah, those guys have chemistry, yeah.
Yeah. Director, obviously Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Rodriguez.
Those hacks.
Yeah, you know, the lightweights. The guys that don't change the shape of film today.
Right.
Like, you know, like they wouldn't, you know, they'd say you can be background.
I don't think so. I think you're in the mix, Dave. I mean,
you're too kind.
The thing, we just talked about it a little bit, but you had some theater training back at, was it Suffolk?
Suffolk University.
Yeah.
Studied theater with Dr. Gerald Wilkins and acting with Steve Alexander.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Those roots that you had, I mean, I remember your story. It's that you were working on the set, helping with the set.
For 2 years.
Tell us about that.
I built sets for 2 years.
And then you were kind of like, you guys can't.
Yeah, I had a moment.
But the moment in which you kind of put your foot down and said, you know, I can do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of actors, myself included, have had that moment where you're looking around at these other people that are saying that they're actors, and they are actors, but you have your own moment. You're like, I can act. I'm an actor. And then you kind of just do it. Yeah. So you had that moment. Here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just took me a really long time.
we'll get into that on another show. We'll have you back. But what's next that you can talk about? I know some things are under wraps, but what's next for you, David?
Acting class tonight with you.
Thanks.
That's what's immediately next. I guess I've been attached to, not attached, D'Annunzio, Christopher D'Annunzio has a short that's coming that we're going to be shooting very shortly called Under the Dark Wing.
Right.
Which I'm really looking forward to. The other actor, his last name escapes, Michael Capozzi.
Okay.
Who is just wonderful to be on set with. He is just the original wild man.
Yeah.
Michael and I, we kind of get hoodwinked, if you will, by a very young lady in a very bizarre way. That's all I'll say about that.
All right.
And there are, I believe there are a couple other Skip Shea projects in the works.
Great. Well, David, time is escaping, but I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we're going to have you on again when some of these projects are, you know, ready to be viewed and when there's more projects to talk about. David Graziano, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. We've had two great guests here on episode 27 of the Short Film Showcase. I'd like to thank our most recent guest, David Graziano, and our guest earlier, Marty Lang, and also for bringing his short film and his trailer. And I'd like to say to all those filmmakers out there, yes, you're a filmmaker, you just don't know it yet. And you're thinking about getting some friends together, maybe a camera, and making something happen. Don't give up. Remember, if you can dream it, shoot it. I'm Mike Messier for the Short Film Showcase.